Hey guys, welcome back. This is Donna Sharpe with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me here on day 530 of doing these lives. I smile because a lot of times when I do these lives, a lot of people really probably don't understand what it takes to make sure that a lot of these videos come out the way that they should. I laugh at myself sometimes because although I'm a model and been modeling for years and I understand what it takes to be on camera and the right lighting and everything, I still laugh at myself. I say, if these people ever saw sometimes what I do, they would just be passing out hysterically of laughter. So I'm here this evening. This is day 530 for me, and I'm continuing from the book, How to Create Strong Families. And for me, I have to tell you that a lot of times when it comes to getting on to get ready and prepared for you guys, it's preparing myself mentally, but not only that, just allowing my spirit to just move and decide where I'm going to be at the right place and the right time. And so I was moved this evening just to pull over and stop. And you guys know I do that quite frequently because when I see that God is really aligning the spirits with where I am mentally and physically and the information that I'm discussing, I feel that the time is a lot of times correct. All right. So in this case, I was driving and you're not going to be able to see it right now, but I saw the most amazing sunset. And the sky is settling. You could probably see some behind me. I'll tilt that a little bit. Nothing compared to what I saw just a moment ago. But I wanted to just give you an opportunity to catch some nature with me before the sun completely went down and speak to you about tonight's subject. And tonight's topic from the book, How to Create Strong Family, is about journaling with your children, how to speak aloud with them, read to them, writing poetry and things like that. Now, Miss Wanda, I know you're not on yet, but poetry I know is one of your number one things right now, so you'll appreciate this one. So I'm going to speak very briefly from this particular book on the attributes, first of all, that this particular topic covers. So basically, the title of this topic tonight is journaling, letters, reading aloud, and poetry. And you know very well that a lot of those things serve a great importance when it comes to creating traditions, reminiscing on the past, making sure that you have a track record of where you're going from day to day. There are many people that don't necessarily journal, and I'm going to encourage you that if journaling is not something that you're accustomed to doing, try it for at least a month and then see how well that goes with you. If it's for nothing else but just jotting down some important points that you can go back later and create a nice paragraph behind it and your thoughts behind it, you'll be amazed what happens a year from now when you go back and look at the information and you say, man, is that where I was in that particular space at that given time? All right. So the attributes that this falls in line with is values, communication, education, sensitivity, and individuality. And I'm sure you can understand why those attributes fall in line with what we're speaking on tonight. So children learn less and less about writing in school. Being able to write clearly, expressively helps a person to think and speak more clearly. As you know, there's not a lot of penmanship that's taking place right now with children, right? A lot of times they don't have time to write anymore, never mind understand how to develop the best penmanship, the best signature, and things like that, because the world just constantly is moving. So that's why it's going to be important for us as parents to sometimes sit them down and have these little simple discussions with them that just creates a lot of value in their life. It may not be anything big, but again, years from now, they're going to look back and say, I remember the time I sat down with mommy and daddy and they were showing me how to create my own signature, or how to create my nice penmanship. What's amazing to me is some of the things that we found, my children and I, just recently. We found some memorabilia from way back when they were children. And what I noticed in the what should I say, the schooling that they had and the penmanship that they had, that their penmanship changed over time, and there's a lot to be said behind that. So you'll be amazed again to see the transition and the change in them, right? So, and journals, letters, and poetry preserves a record of our ideas, our thoughts, and our experiences. And you know very well that throughout life we create, we're involved in, we are constantly transforming. It's an evolution. We're changing. So we want to make sure we're consistently changing with that. Sometimes people don't understand that you're never going to remain the same person that you are right now. You're going to change. You're going to change from month to month. You're going to mature. And if you're not changing, then there may be a little bit of question that needs to be said behind that, right? So change is always good. A lot of people don't necessarily like to adapt change, right? So buy each child a nice journal or diary and talk about the benefits of habits or traditions of writing a little each night, or at least a couple of times a week. Every little bit counts, because again, when you go back, you're going to be able to say, man, I'm so glad I wrote these things down, because I see the maturity in me. I see where I was 5 months ago and where I am now. I see the changes that I thought would not do me any good. It's serving me a better purpose now. So you're going to find a lot of things that you're going to take away from your own script and your own writing. All right. So here's a story by Linda. As you know, Linda is the spouse. I'm going to read exactly what she says. There's a family in this book that typically writes a story about their journey, and it ties right in with what we're speaking on tonight. So here we go. So we were fortunate to have an eldest daughter who took to journal writing and who named each journal. Her first one was called Esmeralda, all right? And she started each entry with Dear Esmeralda. Something about writing to Esmeralda made her entries almost like letters to a real person. Now, as a graduate student, she is on her 10th or 11th journal, each with a different name and each representing a different year of her life. Her younger brother and sisters, intrigued by the names, got their own journals, named them, and followed suit. And this is by Linda. So get children corresponding to regularly transcribing in a journal. First of all, get them to find the journal of their choice. It doesn't matter. They can be as creative as they'll like, but they'll ultimately find that it's going to serve them a good purpose. Sometimes when you make it fun, nice and easy, it becomes a lot more fun. It doesn't become a chore, right? So get your children corresponding regularly with someone, a friend, cousin, an older brother or sister, or who has moved away. Encourage them to keep copies. Lost my place here, one moment. Encourage them to keep copies of some of their letters, perhaps to put them into their journals. Just as we wrote this page of the book, Noah was writing a letter to his grandmother Jacobson, who at the age 87 is still a great sport fan and had long talks with the kids about the NBA and the basketball standings. We asked Noah if we could include this letter, and they wrote a letter. All right, so let me just take a look at this letter, and I'll see if it's something I want to share with you tonight. All right, so we're not going to talk about the letter tonight. We'll go into the letter tomorrow. But I wanted to just stop and take a moment. Hi, Kim. How are you? Welcome. I wanted to stop and just take a moment and just share some insights again from this book about journaling, about reading out loud to your children, about poetry. You'll be amazed. Some of your own children have gifts that you are not necessarily aware of. It's nice for you to pull those things out of them so that they can begin to identify with who they are as an individual. Those things a lot of time will help to move them ahead in life and just have things that they can fall back on, because as you know, sometimes this world can be a very brutal world, and we have to have something we can always lay our head and rest on. Of course, you want to make sure Christ is the number one thing, because no one's going to give you the comfort that you need outside of Christ, right? But outside of that, if there's some gifts or things that you have and you know that they have those gifts and you want to encourage them to share those gifts, get them to start journaling, get them to start writing, get them to start expressing themselves on paper. Anytime you express yourselves on paper, it does two things. Number one, it keeps track of things that you are looking forward to doing ahead of yourself, months later, right? Quarters later, years later. And the second thing it does is it helps you to outwardly express what's on your heart, what's on your mind, because as I mentioned before, a lot of people, they keep things in their subconscious. They never, ever, ever unfold those things a lot of times because of fear or because it's something that they don't necessarily want to deal with. So I'm going to encourage you today, journal, get in the habit of just expressing yourself, be honest, just open, just write. Try not to let it be anything fancy. I always explain to you guys, I did a live once on brain dumping. And brain dumping, what it does is you get everything out in the open and you write it all out. Don't worry what it looks like. It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be in certain paragraphs and things like that. Just write on the paper, because it gets it out of your head. It gets it into a format on paper that ultimately you'll look back and say, wow, this is really what I'm going through right now. It speaks a story and it sends a message. So I'm going to encourage you guys to share this live with a friend today, tonight, and outside of that, love the live if you like it. You know how I feel about those thumbs up. But aside from that, my website is holisticwellbeing.com. It's spelled WHOLELISTIC wellbeing.com. Click on the About section. You can find out why I'm so passionate about what I do. But aside from that, I love you guys. I thank you so much for joining me. I will be back again here tomorrow with some additional great information. I'll probably be speaking on the journaling again and the poetry and the writing, because there's a little bit more section from this little topic that I spoke on this evening. All right. What did Kim say? Never thought of the name in the journal ideas. The name in the journal. Yes. So you name them. You just make it fun, Kim. Make it fun. All right. So guys, I love you all. I will see you back again here tomorrow. And as mentioned, I am newly on my fan page. I've been inviting people and sending out like my page. That's the only way you'll know that I'm over here. If you didn't get a chance to like my page, you might not be catching these lives because I'm no longer on my personal page, and we're actually moving to another level after this. So share with your friends if you'd like them to join along with us. I'll be here speaking live for now until I decide to change in the future. All right. So I will see you guys back again here tomorrow. Isn't the view just gorgeous behind me? I tell you, I just have this thing about getting connected and getting grounded with God, and this is just such a great way to do it. So I will see you guys back again here tomorrow. I'm going to speak a little bit more on the same subject because there's some additional things that I want to share with you. But until then, have yourself a fantastic evening. Make sure that you're eating the proper nutrition and you're still exercising regardless of what places are closed down. There's many things you can do. And as I progress and move a little bit further, we'll be delving a little bit more about the physical aspect of life, the mental aspect of life, and also the nutritional aspect of life. So I'll see you guys back again here tomorrow. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your evening. Ciao.